Hi, my name is Lauren. When I was 5, I was diagnosed with cancer.
We detected Lauren's tumor by fluke. We were sitting here on the sofa, and she happened to arch her back like a turtle, and a bump in her lower back popped up. When she was standing up, you could not see it. When she was lying down, you couldn't detect it.
When we think back, there may have been 1 or 2 instances in the month leading up to her diagnosis where she mentioned being uncomfortable or said, "Daddy, my leg hurts." But the next day she was fine. As parents, we chalked it up to a fall on the ski hill, roughhousing with her brothers, or growing pains.
Our pediatrician sent us immediately to the hospital, where we went back and forth for several days. All of Lauren's diagnostic tests were inconclusive.
Late that first week, going into the tumor biopsy, we knew there were 5 likely diagnoses, of which 3 were cancer.
Even with all that, right up to the final diagnosis, I had hope. But you know, when 3 specialists walk into the room, the news is not good. On Wednesday, April 24th, 2013, 2 years ago, our world was rocked. Lauren was diagnosed with Ewing Sarcoma, which is a rare cancer, and Lauren's tumor was in her lower back muscle. We were stunned, numb. You sort of take stock and think, okay, what are our options? What do we have to do for our daughter?
She had started her first chemotherapy cycle on Saturday, April 27th, just 12 days after we walked into the hospital, 3 days after her diagnosis.
Unbeknownst to us, Lauren's file was actually put forward to the Complex Case Committee on Thursday, the day after her diagnosis. A surgeon I had never met comes in and tells me he's going to be the one that's going to operate on Lauren's spine, that he needs to cut out parts of her vertebra, and she'll need to have titanium rods. A nerve that maps to her upper leg will have to be severed, which means with the loss of this nerve, she may not be able to walk for months and will likely need a leg brace for the rest of her life.
You get this grave diagnosis, then it becomes a game of choosing the best of the worst. It's likely the chemo will lead to infertility. You're deciding about which supportive drugs to use because the chemo could weaken her heart muscle, but the supportive drugs could increase her chances of cancer in the future. Her life and mobility will be permanently impacted. As a parent, this is your child, who is perfect and innocent in every sense, and within 72 hours, you have to make these life-changing decisions on her behalf. She was 5. Due to her cancer diagnosis, the drugs used to combat the cancer, our daughter Lauren will have to be monitored for the rest of her life.
Lauren's protocol was to be 6 to 8 cycles of chemo, surgery on her spine, then 6 to 8 more cycles of chemo. She eventually lost all her hair, her eyebrows, and her eyelashes.
In anticipation of the surgery, Michelle caved and went out and bought Lauren a pair of Uggs to cheer her up on a down day. The deal was Lauren would keep them in the shoebox and put them on only after her surgery.
I call them the white light Uggs. If there's ever a chance that Lauren did see a white light, but knew there was Uggs on the other side waiting for her, she'd definitely go for the Uggs. At the last minute in the OR, all I could do was kiss Lauren goodbye and trade our "I love you" times infinity. Lauren's surgery was supposed to be 6 hours. It took over 10. There were complications, and they nearly lost her twice.
The Uggs were the first thing she asked for after surgery. Collectively, we took 10 months off work. Having a child being treated for cancer is a full-time job.
We were fortunate, though. For parents with a child that has leukemia, treatment can extend beyond 2 years. We live in Toronto, so we had our beds to come home to. Other families have to travel long distances for their child's treatment. They're split up for months at a time, have to live in a hotel or stay at Ronald McDonald House. Their lives are completely disrupted. November 24th, 2013 was Lauren's last day of chemo. You might think that her final checkup would be the last hurdle, but what comes after is actually harder from a mental standpoint. All of a sudden, the safety net of being monitored weekly is gone. We did not want to hover over Lauren or rush her to hospital at the first sign of a complaint of being uncomfortable or hurt. But you're paranoid of missing something. Knowing the long-term implications is invaluable. It gives us an element of control and highlights things that we should be on the lookout for. The information POGO has gathered over the last 25 years is helping Lauren now. The information POGO is gathering now from Lauren and other pediatric oncology patients will inform and provide for Lauren's doctors in the future. It's always evolving.
2 years later, Lauren continues to astonish us, and her recovery is beyond our expectations. We hope to never see the oncology department again.
Well, for follow-ups and social visits.